I just want everyone to know, Daria's story, inspired on true story, is extreme form of domestic violence. If Daria was able to survive and come out of it and break this cycle of trauma for herself and for her children, anyone can come out of it. I know it's not easy, it could be difficult. You think of family, kids, but really like domestic violence, when you're in that type of relationship, 95% of the time, everything is so beautiful. But that 5% could be extremely dangerous and life-threatening. If you have to think of your own life, your children's life, try to get the help that you need, and there's a lot of help and planning. If you don't see things moving to the right path, there is no therapy, no healing, no one wants to take a step, then you have to think of a backup plan to save your own life, your children's life, break the cycle. You can always overcome, you can always heal. It takes time. It's not easy, but you have to take the first step and break that cycle. Otherwise, it happens over and over again.
Welcome to the Heart of Show Business. I am your host, Alexia Melocchi. I believe in great storytelling and that every successful artist has a deep desire to express something from the heart to create a ripple effect in our society. Welcome to the Heart of Show Business, where we dive into the stories behind the storytellers and the power of entertainment to create empathy, connection, and change. Today, I'm joined by two extraordinary women who I actually had the pleasure also of hanging out with in this Cannes Film Festival, because I was a panelist for a talk about women in entertainment, and we spoke in length about this movie, but clearly you were not in Cannes, so now you get a second chance to hear this incredible story. I have with me writer-producer Bela Bahar and actress Shiva Negar to discuss their upcoming film, Deadly Vows. This movie is not a thriller. It is a thriller, but it's so much more than that. It's a mirror that we hold up to one of society's most painful truths, which is domestic abuse. So the silence around it, and also the courage that it takes to break free. Also, though, what I love about this is that all the people, or at least a lot of the people in this movie, were women. And so we're shining here the principle of sisterhood, women lifting each other on screen and off. And so now we're just going to explore how this project became a cinematic journey and a movement of empowerment. Welcome to my show, ladies.
Thank you for having
Thank
us. I'm
you.
excited to see you again.
Thank you
It's
for
so good
having
to
us.
have you. Not jet lag. We're all fresh and dewy and bushy
Yes.
and tailed or whatever it's called, that thing. So, Shiva, you are obviously the lead actress in things. So I wanted to get to you and say you have a character that experiences the unraveling of what it looks like a perfect relationship. How did you prepare emotionally to show the shift from fear to strength?
Wow. My main goal was to honor the emotional truth of women who have gone through this. It was really important for me to realize the weight of that. We all have similar experiences, but this story is extraordinary, and it's not very similar to a lot of domestic violence cases. It's very unique in its own way as well. So I really wanted to take in all that and the heaviness of that. So I sort of backtracked a little bit, as much as I could, into the history of the relationship and how things were amazing at one point. You fall in love with someone, you decide to marry someone, everything is, sunshine and rainbows, to a point where you commit to have kids together. And so having to go through all that and being so happy and married, and what sort of starts in like a nuclear family and like a perfect relationship, and for it to shift 180 degrees, to someone not wanting the other person to be alive. So it's um I wanted to make sure that I take in all those complications and those emotional nuances of this character to, you know, realize that this is someone that I was in love with, and now he wants me dead, you know, at the mother of his children. So I had to take all that in and not just stay in the present, but make sure that the character has all the memories and all the good things and everything that happened in the past, and how that affects her presence and her emotional presence, basically.
That is fantastic. And I have to say, I'm sure everybody who's going to be watching the movie, which by the way, it's coming out November 11th, if I'm not wrong.
14th.
November 14th.
Oh, November 14th is coming
Yeah. Yeah.
everywhere. So please make sure to check it out. I think a lot of women are going to identify in this. I mean, obviously, Shiva, you clearly did. I mean, we've all had a little um, potpourri of personal relationship experiences, some better, some worse. And so I think we all relate to it on a greater or smaller level. But Bella, I know that, and again, you're sort of a new producer, no offense, but you are a new producer, but obviously you went out and you made this movie happen, which is so commendable in today's very challenging landscape. So I wanted to ask you, it is said, rumor has it, that the film is born from certain real stories. So was there a moment when you obviously got hold of the material, when it got completed as a script, and you said, this is a time to tell this, and this is a time we need to tell the story now?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as you mentioned, everyone can kind of, I mean, not, I mean, 95% of the people probably relate to this story in one way or another. You know, it touches base on domestic violence, but also untreated childhood traumas, PTSD, untreated alcoholism, healing, forgiveness, a lot of different topics. So I have a self-funded charity for victims of abuse since 2013. It's called Paradise Charity. So I've seen a lot of heroes that have survived domestic violence. And it's just a story that needs to be told. And I think telling the story through a cinema, bringing awareness through the cinema is a very strong way of connecting with people and making a difference. So that's when I saw the story, I said, I have to make it happen one way or another. And it's not, I'm in, my background is in medical. I was a new producer. But I also like challenging businesses. I I get bored if things are easy. So this was extremely challenging, but also it was very rewarding and evolving and meeting a lot of new people and learning a lot of new things. And right now we're dealing with delivery, which is my first time actually handling film delivery. And oh my God,
Oh my God.
it is,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
is
Such a
so,
learning curve.
so much
it
work.
is.
Yeah.
It's a
And
great learning
also
curve.
festivals, we have to deliver
Yeah.
to festivals and we
Yeah.
have to deliver to distribution. And
Yeah.
everything is coming up. We got into 4 or 5 festivals. Thank God we have to deliver to all of them at the same time. We have to deliver to domestic, international. So it is a lot of work, but we're enjoying it. We're
Yeah.
learning every day. So
But you
much to
know, it's
learn.
very courageous of what you've done because, again, coming from the medical field, I think you told me when we were having a beautiful dinner in Cannes that you just bought a badge and you went to a film market and you said, I'm
Yeah.
going to find the financiers. And oh my gosh, sometimes those rookie things actually do work because I will always say to somebody, don't go to a market unless you are prepared and don't go unless you have a package. And then here you are talking up the movie and finding the investors and, shout out to some of the men too, by the way, that the back the film, it wasn't just all women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously they did play a pivotal role, but so that's very commendable that you go to I think the American film market and here you are, hanging out in Cannes and introducing it to the press and the media. And it just goes into one of the things one of my favorite things about the film creation is that showing the women are standing shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
I loved experiencing that with you ladies, even on the panel. You were so supportive of one another. Nobody was trying to have like the highlight or be in the spotlight. You were all together, united with this message. I want to
Yes.
ask you, both of you, if you like to talk about it, what did that look like behind the scenes while you were filming?
Um, I was actually gonna say I'm so proud of Bella for what she's done because, like you said,
Thank you.
I obviously know, like, I've been in this business for a long time, so I know how difficult it is. I know how complicated it is, and a lot of people do the talk, but to take action and actually get things done, it's hard. It's really hard, especially if you are new to the industry, and
Yes.
and so I applaud you for that, honestly, because
Thank you. I couldn't have done it
yeah,
without Shiva, Shiva, Shore,
teamwork.
June, and Luna. Like they really hold my hand. Like I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
sometimes I ask Shiva Jun, what does this mean? Can you come to the PR meeting? Can you explain? Because the words like all sound like a foreign language for me. It's
Yeah.
like because I'm not familiar with the terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole supporting thing, like you said, because uh, when I first met Bella and we talked about the story, it was, it was heart to heart conversation, really, and I wanted to not just, obviously play the character, but I just wanted to be a part of telling the story in every way possible and to help deliver an impactful story on the big screen for people to really be resonate and be impacted by it and to inspire people. So I wanted to be part of it and support her and everyone else who was passionate. And honestly, that's how we all came together, because we sort of filled all the holes. We all brought
Yeah.
our own expertise, and like she brought her business background, and of course I brought in all my experience from this industry and all the ups and downs and everything I've gone through, and Shorajun the same way. So we sort of like all contributed to make this come to life, and that's the beauty of it, to see the fruits of your efforts.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're excited to see the fruits November 14th.
The fruit.
Oh, we all are. I'm waiting for my next screening invitation because I didn't make the other. So I can't wait to see you both. And it's interesting because this whole women supporting women, it almost sounds like a hashtag. Everybody's using it on Instagram and whatever, women empowerment and everything. Shiva, you also have a podcast, so you know what that's like. But we also know that there is competition sometimes, and women can be very mean to one another as well. There is also the other side of it. So I would love to, and that can eclipse also the collaboration, not in this movie clearly, but in Hollywood in general. So would any of you want to recall a moment where there was a woman in your life that lifted you up in a moment that you doubted yourself? And what was that? Was that a word that was said? Was it a phone call, something that they hugged you, they did something that would change the trajectory of the way that you present yourself to the world as a woman?
Yeah. um I'm like, do you
Go,
want to
go
start or should I?
Actresses first.
The first thing I
ahead.
always, obviously, the first person I think about is my mom, because my mom is my hero. But and she's always there for me. But to be honest, when it's related to this industry, I have to mention Shore June, because
Yeah.
I did another movie with Shore June and years ago, and obviously she's been a great friend and a mentor since then. But I have made a couple phone calls, at least that I can recall, to Shorijun when I was literally on the verge of a nervous breakdown, related to this industry, and I just needed some advice and I needed some guidance as to what I should do, what's the next move, because she's been obviously doing this much longer than I have. And so I literally called her crying, like, on the phone, and just, and she listened, and she just talking to her and some of the things she said, it just calmed me down. So I have to actually say It was very impactful, and it had a very positive effect on me to be able to vent to somebody who gets it, who gets the business and who gets all the ups and downs and all the doors that you have to keep knocking on. And so kudos to her. I'm gonna have to mention her for that for sure, because she's been a great friend and a mentor to me over the years.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, Bella, maybe I can ask you another question because I think, I want us to get
Yeah.
them. And I think Shiva pretty much talked about it. But again, you are an outspoken advocate for women's rights globally, as obviously is Shiva in her own way and Shore. Is there one truth that you wish every woman living in fear could hold on to right now? Because there is a lot of women who might be in a relationship that feels wrong, but they do not know why. So, what's
Mhm.
one truth that you wish every woman that is living in fear could hold on to right now?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I just want everyone to know, I mean, Daria's story, inspired on true story, it's extreme form of domestic violence. Um, and if Daria was able to survive and come out of it and break the cycle of trauma for herself and for her children, anyone can come out of it. I know it's not easy, it could be difficult, it could be you think of family, kids, but uh, really like domestic violence when you're in that type of relationship, 95% of the time everything is so beautiful. But that
Mhm.
5% could be extremely dangerous and life-threatening. So if you have to think of your own life, your children's life, and if you have to, there's a lot of help out there, try to get the help that you need. And there's a lot of help I'm planning. If you don't see things moving to the right path, there is no therapy, no healing, no one wants to take a step, then you have to think of a backup plan to save your own life, your children's life, break the cycle. There is always, you can always overcome, you can always heal. It takes time, but you can always heal and survive this and live again and inspire others. It just takes time. It's not easy, but there is, you have to take the first step and
Mhm.
break that cycle. Otherwise
Yeah.
it happens over and over again.
Yeah, no, that is so true. And as Shiva also mentioned, when we're talking about the movie, we're experiencing in real time the gaslighting, the isolation, the manipulation, the controlling behavior, the financial
Yeah.
manipulation. And then, to any women who's listening, even in this podcast, and he feels trapped, that, you need to know that you're not invisible, you're not alone. There are women who walk through fire, and can help guide you. Obviously, some of these women are present here in this room. And also, I like that we talk about pain, but we also talk about the other side, which is healing, right? So,
Mhm.
how can a movie like Deadly Vow, which obviously starts out as a thriller, become part of that healing process for both survivors and society? Both of
Um,
you.
Mhm.
sure. I mean, like you were saying, abuse doesn't start with violence necessarily either, right? So, and all those little signs are important to notice. And we definitely want this film to help women recognize the early warning signs, because awareness can save lives. It really can. So, and I always say storytelling creates empathy, right? It lets people see what they might not have words for yet, or for survivors, it can be validating to see their experience reflected truthfully without judgment, and for others it can open their eyes and hearts.
Yeah.
Um, I think it gives the pain a purpose, um, and that I guess that silence turns into connection in a way, and that's what I love about filmmaking, because that's what heals. It can heal while it educates at the same time, and that's what I love about storytelling.
Yeah, I love that. Bella, would you like to chime in?
Yeah, I think, yeah, for everyone is kind of different. Maybe you can connect with a spiritual person that helps you walk through your healing journey. Maybe it's a group of friends, maybe it's a foundation, maybe it's some your friends. Maybe, as Shiva said, is making a movie, writing a book. Everyone's healing is kind of different, but you have to. There's many ways. You have to see what helps you
Yeah.
um, heal and overcome and be happy again, and kind of find your own journey to healing. It could be long, it could be lonely, but you can go through it and you can overcome and be happy. Another way that for me it has helped is inspiring others or charity work. That also helps a lot with healing.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that whatever it is that you can do that helps you stand out in the light instead of living in
Mhm.
darkness,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be the thing that you need to do. Like you said, whether it's focus on your children, your pets, some creative outlet, reach out to someone. Um, and I know this is going to sound very woo woo, but this is kind of like the last question. And before we wrap up, I would love a sentence from both of you on what do you want every woman listening to remember about her worth? Is there a sentence that you would like to give each of you just on the sense of having worth as a woman?
I mean, it might be a little more than a sentence, but
Yes, you can do it longer. I know that you're rushed on time, but feel free to
yeah.
make it longer.
I mean, honestly, it's just that you you matter. I'm trying not to get emotional, but uh, your goals, your dreams, they're valid no matter where you come from, and you are not what happened to you. Um, you are what you choose to rise from. That's what I
Mhm.
would say.
I
Yeah, that's
love that.
beautiful.
That's a hashtag moment, people.
Hashtag you are not what happened to you, you are what you
I
choose to rise
love that. I love that. Yes. Bella, what
Mhm.
about you?
So mine is a little bit longer than a sentence too, but
We're
but
women. We like to
sometimes,
talk. What can I say?
right? Sometimes we think of we are staying in a relationship because of our children, but it's really putting the children on a lot more pressure and PTSD and traumatizing. So it's really breaking the cycle, frees up generation of pain. So really breaking that cycle is important. Healing yourself and healing your children. It's very important. Otherwise, they might end up in a relationship just like yours, and they feel it's normal.
Yeah.
So it's important to break that cycle and heal. Have everyone heal. The children need to heal. The couple need to heal.
Yeah.
So that's very
Yeah, they say
important.
take that first step, right? You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take that first step. I have
Yeah.
to thank you, ladies, for your courage and for your artistry. For everyone listening, Deadly Vow is not just a film, but it is a wake-up call. And it's a reminder that we women, when we come together, we can become unstoppable. And also that there are men who care
Yes.
about us and they want us to be unstoppable. So if you or someone you know needs help, please do reach out to your local domestic abuse hotline. Uh, Thank you for coming into the heart of show business. Everybody, watch and support the movie and spread the word. We need stories like this one. We need human stories. We need stories of hope and resilience. And as always, thank you for tuning into the heart of show business. Women tell stories that matter, and we just don't get to change Hollywood. We get to change lives. And if you enjoyed this podcast show, please subscribe, rate, review the movie, of course, as well. And thank you for
I
coming
do
to
want to
our show.
mention actually
Yes,
Yes.
for announcements and future posts that we do have a website, deadlyvows.com, and we also have an Instagram page, Deadly Vows the Movie, and people can get all the latest updates on the website and on Instagram for the film.
that
Yes. Thank you.
That's great. And also, I'll be dropping Shiva's podcast because we podcasters like to support one another. So I'll
Mhm.
also drop her because she's like me. She's doing it for the love, I'm sure. So
Yes.
we all got to, uplift and support one another. So thank you, ladies, for your time. And this is the Heart of Show Business. Over and out.